Today we're tackling Rohit Nayar's Decoding Personal Finance.
Right. And personal finance, let's be honest, it can feel pretty intimidating, maybe even confusing sometimes.
Definitely. It often seems like a complex puzzle.
So our mission today is really to extract the practical lessons from this book. We want to give you some clarity and hopefully empower you to really take control of your financial destiny.
Sounds good. It covers a lot of ground, from the very basics right through to planning for the future.
Yeah, we'll start with those fundamentals, then look at setting goals that actually mean something to you, building conscious money habits, budgeting effectively.
Tackling debt,
Yeah.
the basics of investing, and even how your financial needs change over different life stages.
Okay, great. Let's dive right in then.
It's interesting how Nayar starts by just acknowledging that intimidation factor. His goal seems to be making it accessible, much like we try to do here with the materials you send in.
Absolutely. So chapter 1 kicks off with the basics. Income and expenses. Sounds simple, but really getting this is fundamental, isn't it?
It really is.
Nayar uses this example of Lakshmi, a high school student earning 5,000 akram, and he breaks down her spending transport, groceries, phone, a bit for fun. What's the big deal about just listing income versus outgo?
Well, the big deal is the tracking itself. Even for Lakshmi, with fairly simple finances, just knowing where the money goes, that's the first step.
Right, to making informed choices.
Exactly. It lets her see, okay, maybe I can save here, or maybe I adjust that. It builds that awareness, which is like the foundation for good money habits later on.
Awareness first, then action. Got it. Okay, next up, assets and liabilities. Also key for seeing the bigger picture. He uses Rohan's example. Rohan owns an apartment, 80 lakh value, brings in rent. That's an asset.
Clear asset generates income.
Then he gets another property, same value, but with a home loan. So the property's an asset, but the loan, that's a liability.
Why is this distinction so crucial?
Because your net worth is basically your assets minus your liabilities. That's the number you want to grow.
Ah, okay.
So Rohan's first flat boosts his net worth right away with the rent. The second one could boost it eventually, but that loan sits on the other side of the balance sheet initially. Understanding that balance helps you make smarter choices, avoid getting overstretched.
Makes sense. Avoid biting off more than you can chew financially. Okay, now a big one Nayar really emphasizes: compounding.
Ah, yes, the magic of compounding.
He calls it exponential growth on your initial money, plus the growth it's already generated.
Yeah.
He uses Warren Buffett as a prime example. Started early, consistently reinvested.
And those Coca-Cola and American Express examples really drive it home.
Yeah, no new Coke shares since '88, but massive growth just from reinvesting dividends. Same with Amex. His stake grew hugely from reinvestment.
It's powerful stuff. He also uses that story about Arjun and the single grain of rice. Right, that illustrates it really simply. And then the concrete numbers. Save 1.2 lakh a year for 15 years at 12%. You end up with over 50 lakhs. What's the core message there?
The core message is that time is probably your biggest ally in investing. Starting early, even small amounts, makes a huge difference because of that exponential curve.
So it's less about trying to pick the perfect moment.
Exactly. It's more about being in the game consistently and letting time and reinvestment do the heavy lifting. Long-term consistency beats short-term timing, usually.
Right, play the long game. Okay, then he uses the story of Ram, the fisherman, to talk about building a strong financial foundation.
A good practical example.
He lists key things. An emergency fund like for Ram's boat repair. Insurance, health, disability, life insurance, suggesting 10 times your annual income for life cover.
Sensible protections.
Managing debt, keep those EMIs under 30% of your income. Saving and investing regularly, aiming for maybe 20% of income, and diversifying it.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And planning for the future, education, retirement. What's notable about Ram's approach, even as a fisherman?
What's notable is that it shows these principles aren't just for high flyers. Ram protects himself against shocks, avoids crippling debt, saves consistently, invests, and thinks long-term. It's a solid, practical strategy anyone can adapt. You don't need a huge salary to start.
Exactly. So, wrapping up chapter 1. Understand your cash flow, know your assets and debts, harness compounding, and build that solid foundation Ram showed us.
Those are the building blocks.
And Nayar leaves us with some good questions to ask ourselves. Where does my income come from? What debts do I have? What emergencies might pop up? Are my investments compounding? Got a retirement income plan?
Yeah, those prompts are great for making it personal straight away, taking the theory and applying it to your own life.
Okay, let's shift to chapter 2, setting financial goals. Nayar brings in Jim Rohn's idea, success is a journey guided by clear goals.
Right, goals give you direction.
He says financial goals are like blueprints for your dreams. They give structure, like a ship needing a destination.
Otherwise, you're just drifting.
And he mentions Ron's point about setting big, inspiring goals. Why link financial goals to bigger life dreams?
Because that connection provides the why. It's the motivation. If your goal is just save money, that's okay. But if it's save money for that dream house or for the kids' education,
It's much more powerful.
exactly. It makes the discipline needed much easier to stick with long term. Inspiring goals pull you forward.
Nayar uses this cool analogy: your goal is a treasure island guiding your choices. Then he maps out some general age-based goals.
Yeah, like a rough guide.
20s to early 30s. Maybe paying off debt, saving for a down payment, skills. Mid-30s. Home buying, expanding investments, kids' education funds.
Then late 30s, 40s. Juggling more goals, boosting retirement savings.
And 50s onwards.
Blah.
Retirement transition, estate planning, healthcare focus, but these are just guidelines, right? Life happens.
Absolutely, they're a starting point. Your income, your family, your specific dreams, they all shape your timeline and your goals. You have to customize it and revisit it.
He tells the story of Rajesh the farmer. Really shows the downside of no plan when a drought hit major debt.
Tough lesson.
But then, the turnaround. He starts setting goals, budgeting, builds an emergency fund, and recovers, even funds his kids' education. What's the key lesson from Rajesh?
It just hammers home how vital proactive planning is no matter what you do. His lack of goals made him vulnerable. Putting basic financial practices in place gave him resilience. Shows planning is a fundamental life skill.
Definitely. Nayar then lists the negatives of not having goals. No direction, missed opportunities, stress, poor retirement planning, less wealth building, harder to reach dreams, feeling out of control.
Yeah, it paints a clear picture of the stakes.
And he advises reviewing your plan every 3 years or so. Makes sense. Life changes.
Income changes, jobs change, goals evolve. It has to be a living document.
He lists common goals too.
Yeah.
Kids' education, marriage funds, retirement income, emergency fund, and includes a sample table for a 30-year-old.
Good examples to get you thinking.
But the main point is, tailor them to you. And maybe get advice from a pro if you need it. He ends by asking us to define our goals. 1 to 5 years, 10, 15 years.
Turning abstract ideas into concrete plans.
So, quick recap of Chapter 2. Goals give direction, make them inspiring, they change with age, and skipping them has real downsides.
Pretty straightforward, but crucial.
And more reflection prompts. What are your short-term, 0-5 years, and long-term, 10-15 years, goals? What non-negotiables in your life need to be financial goals? Which goal feels most urgent right now? And maybe list 5 things, financial or personal, you want to achieve next year.
These questions really force you to get specific. That's how wishes become actionable plans.
Okay, moving on to Chapter 3, the importance of being conscious about money. I like his analogy here. Financial consciousness is like learning a dance.
Yeah, understanding the rhythm of your finances.
He says becoming money conscious is a learning curve. You need to understand your situation, set goals, and follow a plan. Like a dance teacher showing you the steps.
Know the steps, practice, find the flow.
And the 5, 6, 7, 8 is budgeting, saving, investing, managing debt. What do you think of that dance analogy?
I think it works well because it frames it as an active, ongoing thing, not passive. You learn, you practice, you get better. It takes effort, like dancing.
He also says believing you can manage money well actually shapes your reality. Then defines financial consciousness, being aware, mindful of your situation, your behaviors, attitudes, and how it all impacts your well-being and goals.
It's that awareness piece again.
He uses stories. Omkar the sage versus Rohan the struggling artisan. Rohan lacked awareness. Then Suresh, cautious, versus Rajesh, lavish spender. The point being...
The point is, it's less about how much you earn and more about how aware and intentional you are with what you have. Rohan's skill didn't help because he was oblivious financially. Suresh and Rajesh show you need balance, conscious effort, regardless of your natural tendency.
So how do you cultivate this consciousness? Nayar breaks it down.
Okay.
Build a conscious budget reflecting priorities. Practice mindful spending, needs versus wants, intentional choices.
Not just impulse buys.
Save with purpose, clear goals. Maybe automate it. Be mindful of debt. Evaluate it. Borrow smartly. Invest with awareness. Keep learning. Align with values.
It's quite holistic.
Yeah, and he even brings in the emotional side, recognizing how feelings affect spending, saving. Developing a healthy relationship with money. Notice how you feel when money comes in or goes out.
cultivate abundance.
That's really important. Finance isn't just numbers. It's deeply emotional for most people. Understanding those emotional triggers is key to making lasting changes. Mindful spending, purposeful saving it, adds that layer of intention.
He also mentions teaching kids about it early and the link between financial health and mental health. Financial stress is real.
Absolutely. A balanced mindset, realistic goals help manage that stress.
And finally, practicing gratitude. Appreciating what you have can curb excessive spending. He even mentions the secret, law of attraction ideas.
Interesting angle, fostering contentment.
So he encourages you to notice those money feelings, practice gratitude for receiving and growing money. Feels like a very mindful, holistic approach.
It is. It's about creating a positive feedback loop. Awareness leads to better choices, which reduces stress, increases control, fosters gratitude, and so on. Including kids and mental health, just shows how vital this skill is.
So recap for Chapter 3. Financial consciousness is like that dance awareness plus mindful action. Crucial for responsible money management.
Got it.
And the reflective questions hit home. Do you budget and stick to it? What percentage goes on shopping? What percentage do you save? Do you talk openly about money with family? Does your money behavior inspire others?
Oof, tough questions. They really make you examine your habits and their ripple effects. Honest self-assessment time.
Okay, Chapter 4. Creating a budget that works for you. He starts with a fun example. Budgeting a road trip to Goa. Estimating fuel, hotels, food, fun.
Right, breaking it down to get a total cost estimate. Avoid surprises.
Shows the importance of being organized, not overspending. Then he pivots to personal budgeting. The steps seem pretty standard.
They are, but laying them out clearly is helpful. Assess your income.
Identify fixed costs, rent, loans, insurance.
Track variable costs, groceries, dining out, transport.
Prioritize saving and investing. Allocate funds to specific goals, down payment, vacation.
Review and adjust regularly. Build that emergency fund.
Monitor your spending apps, spreadsheets, whatever works. And be flexible, life changes. What's the core principle behind all this?
I'd say it's intentional allocation. A budget is your plan for where your money will go based on your priorities.
Instead of just wondering where it went.
Exactly. Making conscious choices. The road trip example shows how breaking things down and setting limits keeps you on track.
He stresses budgeting gives control, informs decisions, helps reach goals. But it needs discipline and regular check-ins.
Not a set it and forget it thing.
Then he uses two starkly different cautionary tales. First, Lehman Brothers argues poor budgeting and risk assessment played a role in their 2008 collapse.
Wow, yeah. High stakes.
Second, Ramesh and Sunita, a high-income couple in Delhi, struggled after having twins because they lacked a budget, relied on credit cards, even lost a job later. Shows high income doesn't mean you don't need a budget.
Absolutely not. Those examples are powerful because they show budgeting is universal. Lehman Brothers, huge failure at the corporate level. Ramesh and Sunita, relatable family struggles.
So it's not just for people struggling financially.
Not at all. It's essential for anyone wanting control and long-term stability, regardless of income or scale. It provides peace of mind.
Nayar then gives a simple budget template. Columns for expense category, budgeted amount, actual spent, and the difference.
That difference column is gold
Why is that?
because it instantly flags where you're off plan. Overspending here, underspending there. It makes your habits concrete, turns abstract spending into numbers you can actually manage, gives you real clarity.
Makes sense. So, Chapter 4 recap. Budgeting, organizing finances, avoiding overspending, crucial for individuals and big companies.
Fundamental skill.
And the final questions push you to start. Got clarity on fixed versus variable costs, future expenses, overspending areas. Feel like you have enough cash flow, or is it tight?
Yeah, they're designed to nudge you from thinking about budgeting to actually starting the process, mapping out your own inflows and outflows.
All right, Chapter 5. Managing debt and credit wisely. Starts with Maya, the teacher, swamped in credit card debt.
Common story, unfortunately.
Her journey involved assessing the mess, researching strategies, making a repayment plan, budgeting, cutting back, negotiating lower rates, and learning to use credit better.
A proactive approach, good for her.
Then he explains how credit card interest works in India, APR, billing cycles, grace periods.
The crucial grace period.
Right. Pay in full by the due date, avoid interest. Pay only the minimum, trouble.
Big trouble.
He covers how interest is calculated, daily, monthly on the balance, the high rates, 24–48%, compound interest working against you, how debt snowballs, late fees. What's the absolute must-know takeaway here?
The speed at which it can escalate. Higher rates plus compounding is a nasty combination. So rule 1, Use the grace period, pay the full balance. Always, if you absolutely can, pay way more than the minimum to knock down the principal fast. Minimize that interest bite.
He shows this with 2 tables. Pay $10K on time, 0 interest, debt gone in a year. Pay minimum on $10K at 36% APR. After a year, you still owe over $7K and paid over $3K in interest.
Ouch. That 36% really highlights the cost. Makes it very clear.
Then good debt versus bad debt. Uses Mr. Patel advising Ria. Samir's home loan, good debt. Neha's vacation loan, bad debt.
The classic distinction.
Good debt is for investments, bad debt for stuff that loses value. What's the core difference for you?
It boils down to whether the debt helps you build future value or wealth. Good debt usually for appreciating assets like a home or maybe education that boosts an earning power. Bad debt typically for consumables, things that depreciate fast, offer no financial return, and just drain resources with interest.
Nayar offers a chart to help categorize debt purpose, ROI, benefits, rates, tax breaks, risk, mostly for investment debt.
A useful evaluation tool.
Then, home loan affordability. Kiran in Bangalore took a loan where the EMI was over 30% of his income. Caused major strain.
Yeah, got overextended.
Nayar stresses keeping total EMIs between 25–35% of monthly income. Distinguish needs versus wants. Rule of thumb. Maybe max 30% EMI for one person's home loan. He warns against thinking a big asset early equals success if it kills your cash flow.
Very important point. House poor is a real thing.
Kiran sought advice, realized he needed balance, maybe refinance, ended up negotiating a longer term to lower the EMI, plus worked on increasing income.
Smart moves to regain stability.
Nayar even includes a worksheet. Should I buy a second property? Helps assess affordability. Why is getting affordability right so critical, especially for big loans?
Because getting it wrong can wreck your finances. Committing too much income to loan payments squeezes everything else, daily expenses, saving, emergencies. Kiran's story shows the danger of prioritizing the asset over realistic affordability. You need to know the ongoing payments fit comfortably within your means. That worksheet helps you do the sums before you commit.
It's total sense. Okay, Chapter 5 recap. Credit card interest is dangerous if ignored. Understand good versus bad debt, and nail the affordability calculation for any loan, especially mortgages.
Key takeaways for managing liabilities.
Final questions for us. What % of your income goes to EMIs? If it's too high, what can you do? Clear on your credit card costs. Should you avoid credit for unbudgeted purchases? Got a plan to clear card debt? Need multiple cards? Why?
Again, very practical questions. Pushing for an honest look at your debt situation and how you manage credit. Thinking about concrete steps for improvement.
Okay, Chapter 6, Investing for the Future. This one starts with financial forecasting, projecting future outcomes using current data, trends, goals.
Looking ahead, basically.
And he connects it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Interesting link.
Yeah, it adds a different dimension.
He quickly runs through Maslow's pyramid: physiological, safety, love belonging, esteem, self-actualization, then maps it to finance.
How does he do that?
Base level, safety, secure income, emergency fund, insurance. Second level, duty responsibility, debt repayment, family support, basic lifestyle.
Okay, makes sense.
Third level, aspirations, education, skills, career growth. Top level, contribution legacy, philanthropy, estate planning, community impact. Why frame finance using Maslow?
I think it connects the dots between money and, well, human needs and aspirations. It shows financial well-being isn't just about a number in the bank. It's about security, fulfilling responsibilities, growing personally, and maybe making a difference. Adds purpose to the planning.
Right. Connects financial health to psychological needs, personal growth. He stresses forecasting helps build a secure future by letting you anticipate needs across life stages.
Plan proactively.
And warns against not forecasting. Leads to messy finances, being unprepared, failing duties or aspirations, missing contribution chances.
The downsides of just drifting.
Benefits of forecasting: security, stability, strategic decisions, fulfilling duties, holistic growth, legacy, a richer life overall. He uses Sam, a 30-year-old Indian family man, as a practical example.
Grounding the theory.
Shows forecasting for Sam across those levels, suggests specific Indian tools, insurance types, PPF, Sukanya Samriddhi, mutual funds, NPS. Why is a detailed example like Sam so useful?
Because it makes the abstract concrete. It shows how to apply forecasting to a real person's situation using actual available tools. It gives you a tangible roadmap you can adapt for yourself. Demystifies it.
Definitely. Nayar then shows the cost if Sam doesn't plan and provides a full plan of action table for him.
Oh, nice. Structured steps.
Yeah, based on those financial pyramid levels. Covers everything. Emergency fund, insurance, debt plan, education funds, investments, legacy planning, tax optimization, retirement strategies, skills, even charity. It's super comprehensive.
It really is. It shows forecasting isn't just one thing, it's an integrated process across your whole financial life. That table is a great framework for moving from understanding to actually implementing a structured plan.
So Chapter 6 recap. Forecasting is essential. It aligns with life stages and needs. Ignoring it has costs.
Plan for the future, basically.
And the reflective questions. Which goal needs the most money? Got an action plan for it. Clear on forecasting your needs and where to start. Have a plan. Need a financial planner's help.
Good prompts to prioritize, assess resources needed, and figure out the next steps, including maybe getting professional help.
And finally, Chapter 7. 3 phases of money accumulation, growth, and preservation. He presents these as a framework for thinking about your financial journey.
A helpful way to structure things.
Uses the story of 3 friends in Pune. Rupiah, accumulation phase, saving diligently. Rupee, growth phase, ambitious entrepreneur. And Sona, preservation distribution phase, managing wealth wisely, giving back.
Illustrates the different focuses.
Then he describes each phase: accumulation, early career, build emergency fund, pay debt, start investing skills; growth, mid-career, diversify investments, max out retirement savings, long-term planning, manage risk with insurance;
Building and expanding.
preservation, near and retirement, create retirement income plan, shift investments to be more conservative; estate planning, healthcare planning. Why is thinking in these phases useful?
It gives you perspective, helps you align your strategy with where you are in life. Accumulation is about building the base. Growth is about maximizing potential. Preservation is about protecting what you've built and ensuring security, maybe distributing wealth too. Knowing your phase helps you prioritize the right actions.
He uses Arjun from Mumbai as another real-life example navigating these phases. Accumulation, emergency fund, student loans paid, started PPFS APPs, skills;
Thought start.
growth, diversified stocks, property, business, max EPFNP pension, planned for down payment sister's education, got insurance;
Expanding significantly.
preservation,
Yeah.
creating withdrawal plans, shifting to bond FDs, updating will trusts, healthcare long-term care planning. Then Nayar gives a step-by-step guide to identify your phase.
Self-assessment time.
Yeah, characteristics and questions for each phase. What's the main benefit of doing that structured self-check?
It helps you objectively look at your current financial situation, priorities, and actions. By comparing yourself to the descriptions, you get clearer on which phase fits you best right now. That self-awareness is crucial for aligning your strategy correctly.
Makes sense. He wraps up by encouraging the self-reflection and using the action steps as a guide, and reminds us to revisit the plan as we move through phases.
Because life moves on, right? Your finances aren't static. The plan needs to evolve with you. It's a living guide, not set in stone.
So, Chapter 7 recap. 3 distinct financial phases: accumulation, growth, preservation, each needing different strategies.
A useful life cycle view.
And the last set of questions. Which phase are you in? Why? Clear on identifying your phase now. Know the action steps for each. Got a plan based on your phase? Need an expert review?
Those final questions really pull it all together. They push you to synthesize everything we've discussed and apply it directly to you, and consider your next concrete steps, taking ownership.
And, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Rohit Nayar's Decoding Personal Finance. It really packs in a lot of valuable knowledge, a lot of practical tools to hopefully empower you.
Definitely a comprehensive guide.
And like Nayar says, remember, financial planning isn't a one-off thing, it's a lifelong journey. Just implementing some of these ideas is a big step forward.
Small steps add up.
And remember, your journey is unique. You've got to tailor all this to your own goals, your own situation, your values. Keep learning, stay informed.
And don't be afraid to ask for professional help when you need it.
Exactly. Ultimately, financial well-being is about making your money decisions align with what matters to you, using it as a tool for a more fulfilling, secure life.
Setbacks might happen, but persistence pays off. Keep those goals in sight.
Absolutely. So congratulations on making it through this deep dive. Your financial future really is in your hands. We wish you the best on your journey.